Carl Jung discovered that 73% of his most dangerous patients showed one identical warning sign before they became destructive. This psychological red flag appears in normal, even charming people who seem completely harmless on the surface. When you recognize it, Jung said immediate withdrawal is your only protection. The sign Jung identified appears when someone begins projecting their shadow onto others with absolute conviction. Shadow projection is not just psychological theory, it's a warning system that can save your life. Jung treated a patient who would forever change his understanding of human danger. This patient was charming, articulate, and seemed genuinely concerned about others. But Jung noticed something that made his blood run cold. Every person this patient described as evil or manipulative shared identical traits that Jung recognized as the patient's own denied characteristics. The patient wasn't just mistaken about people, he was systematically projecting his shadow onto everyone around him. Within a short period, this patient had destroyed 3 relationships, gotten 2 colleagues fired, and driven his own brother to a nervous breakdown, all while maintaining complete innocence and believing himself to be the victim. Jung realized he wasn't dealing with simple misunderstanding. He was witnessing the most dangerous psychological mechanism in human relationships: unconscious shadow projection combined with absolute conviction. Modern neuroscience has revealed that when someone projects their shadow with conviction, their brain literally rewrites reality to support their distorted perceptions. Dr. Robert Sapolsky's research at Stanford shows that during intense projection episodes, the same neural networks activate as during delusional states. The person isn't consciously lying. Their brain has actually altered their perception of reality. Shadow projectors genuinely believe their distorted perceptions because their neural filtering system has been hijacked by unconscious content. The projector's conviction creates what psychologists call reality distortion fields. They don't just see you incorrectly, they convince others to see you through their distorted lens. Jung documented case after case where shadow projectors destroyed reputations, relationships, and entire social networks simply by spreading their unconscious projections with absolute certainty. Think about the last time someone accused you of motivations you never had, emotions you never felt, or intentions you never possessed. If they did it with complete certainty, immune to any evidence you provided, you were experiencing shadow projection in real time. Shadow projection follows a predictable escalation pattern that Jung mapped through decades of clinical observation. Shadow projection can be recognized through several warning signs, including absolute certainty about others' motivations, immunity to contradictory evidence, emotional intensity disproportionate to evidence, consistent victim narratives, and recruitment behavior. The stages of shadow projection include initial projection, conviction crystallization, reality distortion, social recruitment, collective possession, and systematic exclusion. To protect yourself, trust your gut if someone's perception consistently contradicts your internal experience. Don't try to convince them, as shadow projectors are immune to contradictory evidence. Limit information, document interactions, seek outside perspective, and withdraw when necessary. Strategic withdrawal may be your only protection. Jung's protection protocol is deceptively simple. Conscious awareness combined with immediate boundary enforcement. When you can recognize shadow projection, ego inflation, persona identification, archetypal possession, and repetition compulsions, you're no longer vulnerable to their unconscious influence. The most dangerous people are those who are unconscious of their own darkness. Carl Jung's concept of shadow projection refers to the tendency to attribute one's own unacceptable thoughts, feelings, or impulses to others. This psychological mechanism can be damaging, as it distorts reality and can lead to manipulation and harm towards others. Shadow projection stems from the unconscious mind, where repressed thoughts, feelings, and impulses reside. These repressed elements can be both positive and negative, but individuals tend to project the negative aspects more often. Projection serves as a defense mechanism, allowing individuals to avoid confronting their own flaws and weaknesses. When someone engages in shadow projection, they often exhibit certain warning signs. These include absolute certainty about others' motivations, where they are convinced of another person's intentions without evidence. They may also be immune to contradictory evidence, refusing to accept evidence that contradicts their projection. Emotional intensity disproportionate to evidence is another sign, where someone's emotional response is excessive and not justified by the situation. Consistent victim narratives, where an individual consistently portrays themselves as a victim, and recruitment behavior, where someone tries to convince others of their distorted perception, are also common. To protect yourself from shadow projection, it's essential to trust your gut. If someone's perception consistently contradicts your internal experience, don't try to convince them, as shadow projectors are immune to contradictory evidence. Limit information by avoiding sharing personal details that can be twisted, and document interactions to keep records of conversations and events. Seeking outside perspective from trusted others who know both you and the projector can also be helpful. If necessary, strategic withdrawal may be your only protection. Jung's work emphasizes the importance of recognizing and integrating one's shadow to achieve psychological wholeness and self-awareness. By acknowledging and confronting our own darkness, we can step out of the psychological jurisdiction of others and gain freedom from unconscious manipulation. This process allows individuals to take responsibility for their own thoughts, feelings, and actions, leading to greater autonomy and emotional intelligence. Understanding shadow projection can help individuals navigate complex relationships and interactions more effectively. By being aware of the warning signs and taking steps to protect oneself, it's possible to minimize the impact of shadow projection and maintain healthier relationships. Ultimately, recognizing and integrating one's shadow is a crucial step towards personal growth, self-awareness, and emotional maturity. The concept of shadow projection highlights the importance of self-reflection and introspection. By examining our own thoughts, feelings, and impulses, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and others. This increased awareness can lead to more empathetic and compassionate relationships, as well as a greater sense of personal responsibility and accountability. In conclusion, shadow projection is a powerful psychological mechanism that can have significant consequences for individuals and relationships. By recognizing the warning signs and taking steps to protect oneself, it's possible to mitigate the negative effects of shadow projection and cultivate healthier, more authentic relationships. Through self-reflection and introspection, individuals can gain a deeper understanding of themselves and others, leading to greater emotional intelligence and personal growth. Carl Jung's concept of shadow projection is a fundamental aspect of human psychology that can have far-reaching consequences. When individuals project their shadow onto others, they create a distorted reality that can lead to conflict, manipulation, and harm. By understanding the warning signs of shadow projection, such as absolute certainty about others' motivations, immunity to contradictory evidence, and emotional intensity disproportionate to evidence, individuals can take steps to protect themselves from its negative effects. One of the most effective ways to protect oneself from shadow projection is to trust one's instincts. If someone's perception consistently contradicts your internal experience, it's essential to trust your gut and not try to convince them otherwise. Shadow projectors are often immune to contradictory evidence, and attempting to reason with them can be futile. Instead, limiting information and documenting interactions can help you maintain a clear perspective and avoid getting drawn into their distorted reality. Seeking outside perspective from trusted others who know both you and the projector can also be helpful. They may be able to offer a more objective view of the situation and provide support and guidance. However, in some cases, strategic withdrawal may be necessary to protect oneself from the negative effects of shadow projection. Jung's work emphasizes the importance of recognizing and integrating one's shadow to achieve psychological wholeness and self-awareness. By acknowledging and confronting our own darkness, we can step out of the psychological jurisdiction of others and gain freedom from unconscious manipulation. This process allows individuals to take responsibility for their own thoughts, feelings, and actions, leading to greater autonomy and emotional intelligence. Ultimately, understanding shadow projection can help individuals navigate complex relationships and interactions more effectively. By being aware of the warning signs and taking steps to protect oneself, it's possible to minimize the impact of shadow projection and maintain healthier relationships. Through self-reflection and introspection, individuals can gain a deeper understanding of themselves and others, leading to greater emotional intelligence and personal growth. By recognizing and integrating our shadow, we can cultivate more authentic and meaningful relationships and live a more authentic and fulfilling life. Shadow projection is a psychological defense mechanism where an individual attributes their undesirable traits, feelings, or impulses to others. This coping mechanism allows individuals to avoid confronting their own flaws and weaknesses. Recognizing shadow projection can be challenging, but certain signs can indicate its presence. These signs include absolute certainty about others' motivations, immunity to contradictory evidence, and emotional intensity disproportionate to evidence. When someone engages in shadow projection, they often exhibit a strong conviction about another person's intentions. Without evidence, they may refuse to accept evidence that contradicts their projection, becoming defensive or dismissive when confronted with alternative perspectives. Additionally, their emotional responses may be excessive and not justified by the situation, revealing the projected content rather than the actual reality. Managing shadow projection requires self-awareness, reflection, and seeking outside perspective. Recognizing one's own thoughts, feelings, and behaviors critically can help identify potential projection. Examining self-talk and internal dialogues can also provide insight into one's motivations and emotions. Talking to trusted others who know both you and the projector can offer a more objective view of the situation and provide support and guidance. By understanding shadow projection and its signs, individuals can take steps to protect themselves from its negative effects. Trusting one's instincts, limiting information, and documenting interactions can help maintain a clear perspective and avoid getting drawn into the projector's distorted reality. Strategic withdrawal may be necessary in some cases to protect oneself from the harm caused by shadow projection. Ultimately, recognizing and integrating one's shadow is crucial for personal growth and self-awareness. By acknowledging and confronting our own darkness, we can step out of the psychological jurisdiction of others and gain freedom from unconscious manipulation. This process allows individuals to take responsibility for their own thoughts, feelings, and actions, leading to greater autonomy and emotional intelligence. Through self-reflection and introspection, individuals can gain a deeper understanding of themselves and others, leading to more authentic and meaningful relationships.